Good afternoon, everyone, and happy and Merry Christmas to all of you. Me and Caroline are wishing you and your loved ones a very happy Christmas, very safe Christmas, and a really great upcoming new year as well. So, welcome everyone. This is 235th episode of Career Care Package. And it's a journey that started at the start of the pandemic in March 2020, and it's still going. And I think with the new variant coming along, obviously we are all feeling a little bit anxious about it. No, but I guess that the whole world is going through one or the other challenges. So hopefully this new year brings lots of joy and happiness to your family, your career, your business, or your pursuit, whatever it is. So we are going to do a little bit different today. We will be reflecting on 2021, and also talking about things that which Caroline mentioned in the post, which is around tiny habits or small steps as well. So welcome, Caroline.
Thanks, Naish. And somebody's popped in to wish both of us a peaceful and healthy Christmas and wonderful 2022. It just says LinkedIn user, so I'm not sure who it is, but I echo that totally. I hope you do have a wonderful Christmas and a fantastic 2022. So, and it's really great to be here. I guess it's been a bit of a journey because, it seems like, since March 2020. Sorry, I've got itchy eyes. So, March 2020, and a different range of emotions at every single stage of this pandemic. And I suppose, again, we're entering into a big period of uncertainty for a while. And I suppose, if we want to reflect on some of the things that we learned, like we were talking about before, Naish, it's that period is very, very normal now. Like if there's a thing that you could say is normal, it seems to be like a period of uncertainty followed by something at the other side. And I know we've dedicated a few episodes to optimism. And I think, part of that is understanding that these things go like this, and that's very, very normal. And using an analogy for making a big career change, it's exactly the same. Searching for
Yeah,
a
it
job,
is.
building a business, changing your career, just trying to navigate life. It's exactly the same.
Yeah, and I feel we've all learned, how to deal with uncertainty in some or the other capacity.
Mm.
Kids have learned how to do homeschooling, how to be independent, how
Mm.
to, or not annoy dad or mom, and still do your homework. So I
Is
think
that a
we have
message that
all,
you're sending out now, or is that the
yeah, but I,
truth?
I don't think so. They'll listen to, you know, uh, they don't listen to me. I thought maybe LinkedIn Live would help them. But I guess that we have all learned to deal with uncertainty. I think that's
Mm.
a big thing, in a way. I think a lot of us would be able to look at career change now moving forward and say, you know what, I can handle it now. I think
Mm.
it's possible. If I lose a job, I think it's possible for me to find something else as well. So I think that that's one of the biggest lesson of last 2 years, and especially even this year too, that we've all learned to embrace in our own capacity. Sometimes it takes a while to embrace that and then move forward with it. But overall, I guess that we have all learned to handle the uncertainty in more decisive and more confident manner. So that's what I can start
Yeah.
with around 2021 of what I have seen around me, as well. Having said that, what you touched on, KB, around living with normal. It used to be, if you reflect on the discussion that we had in 2020, yeah, you know what, we will have to live with this pandemic, or we'll have to live with this virus, and but I think we have really practiced it with this one, that what it means to live with this, kind of a looming threat around us, and we don't know what would you know what would happen, whether we are very close to that virus or not, right? So we have I
Mm.
think we have all learned really, and also practiced it to how to live with this pandemic and still continue to soldier on. I think that's a big thing. While we are me and KB are not ignoring, um, a lot of people whose lives been lost to also the lives been directly or indirectly been impacted through this pandemic as well. So
mm,
yeah, so it's a bit bit of
yeah,
reflection, bit of
yeah. And Sunda,
sadness as well. Yeah.
sorry, I didn't
Yep.
mean to interrupt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sunda has just dropped in to say, wishing you a very blessed Christmas and a happy New Year, and the same to you as well, Sunda. It's lovely to have you pop in and say hi, and hope your Christmas and New Year will be totally joyful too. Yeah, so I guess there's also like a few things that have been helpful. I was reflecting on before this, and one of like in these kinds of periods where there are a few things that can, like, there's a lot of uncertainty out there, but there's other things that you can hold certain, and that is that if you like the right tribe around you will support you. Like there is a tribe out there, like a good network of people, and I think that's one of the things that you and I have discovered over the last 2 years, Naish, is that if you put something out there, the right people will be attracted back to that. So if you put something out there with a genuine intent to help people, um, we've met some absolutely amazing people through this last 2 years that we would never have come in contact with before. And their insights and their generosity has been a certainty. Like there is, you'll always find that in a situation, that there is a good spirit of humanity out there. Um, if you look for it, what you seek, you'll find is probably the
Yep.
lesson in a way. So we've had some absolutely wonderful guests on the show around that. So I think like that one big thing for me is trying to find some things that you can be sure of, and I think that's in this kind of environment, and I think that's why things like routine and help, but also knowing that you can have some progress in times like this. And we've made progress on it, quite a few things this year and last year as well, if you reflect on them.
Absolutely. As you were talking about the guest that came on our show, but also I think what we have also not really kind of acknowledged is that the guest then also went on, built their own network too. They've been connected with each other, and also they've
Mm,
gone and I've seen some really good partnership flourishing or even
mm,
communication flourishing out of it. So that's really a good one.
mm,
Obviously, one of the biggest thing for especially for this show was that we've continued the journey. We completed 193 episodes last year, and then we added 35 and 742 episodes this year as well. And we had absolutely tremendous guests, and really deeper insight into the work and employment and career issues out of it. But one of the things that we both can be absolutely proud of is this product that we have developed,
oh yes, I'm
Cards
so
Against
proud I forgot to
Insanity.
bring it.
That's okay, that's fine, no problem at all. And we can be absolutely proud of it,
Mm,
that we could do this in a very short period of time and also on a very shoestring um,
mm,
kind of budget as well. So this is a true lean startup in a way, right?
mm,
We've developed something that is at a very very speed, quite with velocity, but at the same time it also makes a difference as well.
mm,
So yeah, so we thank all the people who bought this and who played the game also, that people who
mm,
came on our show and talking about these cards and what it means to them, and people who continue to talk about these cards. Thank you very much, for
mm,
doing that, because it means a world for both of us that this card is not only acknowledged but also used by people,
mm.
as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and the cards have had a great reception, and I think it's the idea about finding something that speaks to the spirit of the times as well, and a great name, of course, but finding something that really speaks to where people are at and what could be actually useful for that. And in terms of, I guess, some of the lessons out of that, which you could apply to making, a career change or finding a job as well, is how important it is to have support. So both you and I have complementary and um, talents, or that we work quite well together. So how important it is to find support, how important it is to keep momentum up, how important it is to understand the way that you might get things done. So you might be somebody that needs to do something every day, or you might be a sprinter. And I think Naish and I have discovered that we're probably, with these sorts of things, more sprinters than anything else. And also that there are amazing resources out there, not here, not just, I know it sounds terribly parochial, but there's such online marketplaces now where you can get things done fast, quality, speedy, and get them moving. And just to, if you've got an idea about something, just to get it out there in the market and see if it works. Because it's like if we had the Cards Against Insanity, or that kind of card idea might have remained just an idea for a long time, and a great idea that was going to work,
Yep.
versus, well, let's just test it and see. And it's the same with, if you're going to go and look for a job or change your
Mm,
career, it's that kind of like, let's get a minimum viable thing out there to see whether that actually works. So it's a great kind of lesson in that as well. But I think there's interesting thing around really understanding the way that you work, like
mm,
what your work style is to get stuff done. And
mm,
then the other thing I think about those cards is that, and one of the lessons that I've learned is that when and again, it's around having the steps that you take, right? So what does success actually mean? Because
mm,
if we said that we were going to sell 1 million boxes of the cards, we would give up on the cards right from the start. But really trying to understand what success means at your stage of the journey.
mm, mm,
So I know I've given up on things that I've developed, that I've sold $1,000
mm,
worth and went, oh my
mm.
God, I didn't sell 10,000, therefore that thing's a failure, versus knowing that the first thing that you do, that's a good result, So,
Absolutely.
and again, that's the same with, if you're going for an interview, or you're changing your career, or, networking with somebody, having this really high expectation that if you don't get what you
Mm,
want at that first step, it's a failure. No, the first step, having done the first step, is a success, basically.
absolutely. So let's talk about the tiny steps one. And I think
Mm,
a doodle that I came across on Twitter, which is about the importance of the smaller steps
mm,
and how much we ignore. I think there is obviously a philosophy out there that you have to take giant and big strides
mm,
to achieve results. Obviously you need to. If you are in an emergency, you need to do it, right? You can't at that time think about, oh yeah, this is, my home is, I don't know, there's some problem with it, and I can say, yeah, you know what, yeah, I'm going to take a tiny steps here and there, and it won't fix the plumbing, right? You got to get
mm,
a plumber to replace the pipes or something, right? We are talking about then you require some giant actions. But if you want to achieve a sustainable long term results, what requires is tiny steps, like really
mm,
small steps.
mm,
I can share one of my personal thing is that I've been diagnosed with diabetes, and one of the thing was, it wasn't bad, but one of the thing was to stop sugars and ice creams and sweets, which obviously Indian sweets are pretty awesome. Any sweet is pretty awesome, right? But yeah, but one of the thing that I had to take was to gradually decrease the sugar content that I put in,
mm,
right? And I changed to a different sugar. I stopped eating that, and within 2 3 months, I saw a noticeable difference.
mm,
When I sent my picture to my brother in India, and he said, "Have you lost weight, man?" And I said,
mm,
"Yeah, thank you for noticing it. I have." Because the previous trousers are now probably fitting to me more than anything else. That's my barometer of losing weight. But it just requires discipline and just small effort that I put in. I
mm,
did not put in huge effort to completely radically change my diet,
mm,
but things which I can take out, small
mm,
things. And
mm,
that's how it started. With now I'm used to that small bit. I can
mm,
probably expand a little bit more
mm.
within that small bit, as well. So that's
Yeah.
one of the things that I say. But also the Cards Against Insanity one, 3 months, 4 months it took, and we took bite-sized steps to achieve that. We didn't,
Mm,
I wrote down everything, and then you improvised on that, but we took bite-sized steps,
mm.
to achieve that outcome, right? So think about
Yeah.
bite-sized steps, and what you have done, KB, with your morning routine. it's
Mm.
it's amazing. It's been 1 year that you've been consistently following it. So tell us more about what your habit and what has
Yeah.
become possible.
Well, I think that's a bit of a. I don't know if you've got the doodle that you did to show people with the ladder. If you can show that, I think it's a wonderful illustration of how that might work. But basically, the tiny habits theory is it's a book written by B.J. Fogg. So go and get the book if you're watching this, and know that I'm just giving you some highlight points out of it because it's basically based on research about habit setting. And if you want to change your behavior, you can't rely on motivation because motivation flags. So instead, you've got to put in some elements and some tools into this to actually make something work. So, for example, he if you want to develop a habit around flossing your teeth, he suggests flossing one tooth at a time. But there's certain ways that your neurology, like your neural pathways go. So actually, here's the doodle that Naish did, and I think this is a great visual illustration of how some tiny steps and tiny habits work. So if you rely on your motivation to get to the big step, it's too far out of reach. And so you'll give up. But if you break down what you want to do into the tiniest steps that you want to achieve it, it's much easier to do it. But then there are a few other things that you need to do to make that a habit. So there's a theory that says that you do something repeatedly for 14 days, it'll be a habit, but that's actually becomes a habit. That's actually not true. And the science doesn't back it up. Part of BJ Fogg's theory is that you break it down into small steps. You link that behavior change. You have to have a trigger for the behavior change. So, for example, you link it to something that you automatically do every day, like cleaning your teeth in the morning or cleaning your teeth in the evening. And you say to yourself, before I or after I do this action, I'm going to do this next small step. And after you do that small step, you you trigger the reward part of your brain by giving yourself a high five or dance around the room or play your favorite music because your brain loves those small rewards. So you'll notice that you don't have any trouble creating a habit out of eating chocolate, right? Because your brain loves chocolate. You're giving yourself a reward. So in this kind of tiny habit model, um, you um, you give yourself a high five or you say that you're awesome or that you run around the room or you play your favorite song. So your brain is getting that reward for that tiny habit. And also that in this process, it's about curiosity as well. So the thing that you might do might not work, might not actually change the behaviors. So be curious about what's actually going on for you, why you actually do it. So it's more of a not so much relying on, the motivation that you're going to do something and because that can wane when, you've got to make that step as easy as possible. And that's for you to do. And that's why you make it small to start off with. And then that tiny habit might lead onto the next habit. My morning routine is probably a little bit different from that because I'm kind of like, the accountability part of that was me putting that up on Facebook and saying I'm going to go for a swim for 28 days. And then for me, the embarrassment of not doing that.
Yep.
And then I discovered that I enjoyed it. So I kind of didn't follow that approach
Mm.
as much. But what I noticed is that one foundation habit of going for a swim meant that I felt fantastic after doing it. It meant that I actually really wanted to continue that fantastic feeling. So I started to build on other things as well. So by making sure that I went for 10,000 steps, by doing some following an eating routine that was like the intermittent fasting, but not
mm,
to
mm,
a big degree. So I've started to pull in things that continued to make me feel good about myself, because I liked the feeling that I got after I used to go for my morning, after I went for my morning swim, and I've pretty much kept it up um,
mm,
all year basically, and I'll keep it up next year as well. So yeah, but you've got to, a big thing about this is really tapping into that physical felt sensation
mm,
of when you do something. So how does that actually make you feel? Because if you're doing it for any other reason,
mm.
it doesn't last, you
Yeah.
know. So that's why it's got to be something that makes you, you tap into that physical felt sensation of that
Mm.
actually feels good to me. So yeah, that's basically the theory.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, so there's lot to take away from it. So I think regardless whether you got the theory right or not, or whether you followed that model or not, I think the important is that you are feeling great about yourself. You feel that you've achieved something at the end, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
we follow principles or framework and everything else religiously. Sometimes we find our own slant around it and then do it regardless of what whichever pathway that you walk on. I think tiny steps, small changes are the way to go, because especially in the pandemic one, I think we are continuously overwhelmed, right? We feel overwhelmed anyway. I went to uh, you know you know catch for a catch up with another career practitioner, and me and Sarah went for a coffee, and by the time we got out, the whole cafe was full,
Mm,
and it was noisy and everything else. And by the time I got out, we both felt we exhausted just by
mm,
listening to those music and talking with each other and trying to make sense of what we are saying.
mm,
I just felt it, because we are so much out of, due to pandemic, are so much out of not doing that, doing it just felt like, wow, I've just been through a 3 hour meeting or something. It just felt
mm,
so exhausting.
mm,
So I think given that pandemic is on, I think small things is the way to go, in my view.
mm.
Make
The
small
other thing
consistent
too,
changes. Mm,
yeah, the other thing too is to find the time of day that suits you.
mm,
So it's funny because, carving out time, and I've said this before, time that's already your time is a great way to continue, to build build up those habits. So in the morning, like that's my time. So
mm,
I don't feel guilty if I take an extra half
mm,
hour to go and do something. Um, Whereas if I try and do something in the evening, it just doesn't happen
mm,
because the whole day doesn't have that kind of structure that I've
mm,
given the morning.
mm.
So,
Yeah.
but like you might be a nighttime person, so your time
Mm,
might be, kids are in bed and whatever, and
mm,
there's a trigger for you to go and do something.
yeah.
So, and also we make so many. The thing about this, it's been really enlightening for me, is we make so many
Mm,
assumptions about
mm,
the best way to do something, right?
yeah.
So for me, it used to be get out of bed, sit at my desk. The best way to get things done is just to start as early as possible and keep
Yeah.
working and bulldozing through, no matter how long it took, no matter how drained I was until the end.
Mm, mm,
But going and saying, okay, I'm actually not going to start work until 9 o'clock or 9:30 or whatever, having
yeah.
done something in the morning is a real. I am no less
Yeah.
productive. You know what I mean? So with these things, you've got to have a look at what your assumptions are, like your core belief
Yeah.
systems, and go, is
Yeah.
that serving me, basically?
Yeah. Yeah. Agree. All right. Excellent. Yeah. So that's the theory behind it. If you want to go and check out the book, please go and check it out. The book as well, for by Tiny. Book's name is Tiny Habits.
And there's a
Now
TED
what
talk as well that BJ
TED Talk?
Fogg's done.
Obviously,
So, yeah,
obviously, there is a TED Talk about it.
of course there is.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I don't know whether people have noticed it or not, but I was getting so annoyed and jealous of people doing TEDx talks, and so I put on my LinkedIn profile that I'm a non-TEDx speaker.
I did
And then I
see that.
figured out, yeah, and then I figured out that TEDx is another scam.
A what?
It's not. It's kind of people are spooking this up everywhere. There might be a small town that organize TEDx, and people will apply for that and go and put a TEDx speaker as their. It's not as rigorous the whole process as it should be. That's
I
my
actually,
thinking on it.
like a lot of people that we've had on our show have had a TEDx talk that you
Yeah,
wouldn't know about
yeah,
them unless they've
yeah,
done that talk.
yeah.
So
Yeah, hopefully
it's a
we
good
will be me and
ambition to have.
Caroline gets invited for this. I don't want to apply for
So
that.
I was just saying,
Mm.
I don't necessarily think it's a bad ambition to have a TEDx
No, 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 not
talk.
at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
I'm after TED Talk, not TEDx Talk. That's what my thing is.
Okay.
I get invited into Silicon Valley to do that. I think that would be a pinnacle of my career.
Excellent.
Okay, so what to do? What are you looking forward to in 2022? Um, so I'm
There's a
really
2021.
Oh, still 5 more days to 7 more days to go. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, I'm still looking forward to going to Boxing Day test. India, so not India. Why do I say India? But Australia against England. So I'm really excited to go and do that. I'm going to watch a Bollywood movie tomorrow, which is going to be fun again, and spending some downtime, honestly, for until the 4th of January, 3rd of January. So that's what's been happening with me, KB. You're taking some time off, aren't you?
I am taking some time off. I'm not going to be doing very much. I think I'll listen to a few Audible books and get the kayak out on the bay. I'm looking at
Kayak.
the wind right
Wow.
now, thinking I might take it out this afternoon and
That's good. You
just
got a
looking forward to
kayak.
a few.
That's right. Yes.
I do, yes. It hasn't been out all year, to be honest.
Yeah, I
So
know. Yeah.
sprang a big leak, but I fixed it up now. So yeah, I might
Yeah.
take it out this afternoon, depending on the wind. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Excellent. And what else in 2022? What are you looking forward to? If you ask me, I'm really looking forward to continuing. I really enjoy my work at University of Melbourne. It's fantastic. I really love the quality of discussions and the students that I get to interact with. Mind you, they are all 95% over in 8 hour score. So they're quite intelligent than me, right? But it's fun to have a chat with them, understand um, their career interest and what's in the way, and it's really fun. Really, I enjoy interacting with them. And also I'm going to finish writing, which I'm going to let the kitty out of the bag. Me and Dr. Juliana Mutum, we are going to we've joined hands to write a book called I Have Migrated, What Next, which is going to be my 10, 11 years of knowledge into a book. And Dr. Juliana Mutum, she has been a researcher in this field of skilled migrant and employment. So we are bringing her research and my practical ideas and career knowledge together to bring a great book onto the hands of migrants who are here or migrants who are yet to arrive here. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. I think that will consume a lot of time, take up a lot of time. So I don't think so. I've got any other thing in terms of professional ones. Don't have anything else to add to that.
It's funny. I think you mentioned that you're going to take the write the book in a
Kitty.
month. It's like, yeah, no, that's a
No, no,
fantastic
no, 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 no.
enterprise as well. So yeah, we just had a message from Sundar saying success is a progress. Do you want to read it out? I'm struggling.
They said success is a progressive realization of a worthwhile dream. Operative word is progressive. The compound effect by Darren Hardy also talks about the small adjustment or habits made on daily basis. This ties in well with your topic. Thank you very much, Sundar. And a LinkedIn user says, thank you both for providing great career advancement content in consumable bites over this year, and wish you a happy and safe and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you very much, all the LinkedIn users who've been commenting on our LinkedIn Live. And yeah, so we will continue. We will, unless me and Caroline, either of one win a lotto, we do want to continue 2022. We'll continue with our LinkedIn live sessions. We don't know whether we will do it, what topics and everything else. That's up in the air. But yeah, we will continue our journey because we love doing these shows. I think it's a way for us to also practice what we talk about as well.
Mm, yeah. So, yeah, for me, this coming year, I'm going to continue to build up, aspire to world domination. I think is probably like a tiny step I could take.
Absolutely.
You know, going to continue on the YouTube channel and see where that takes us in terms of content and different direction in the business. And yeah, I'm going to be launching the Straight to Shortlist Challenge as a digital online challenge early next year. So that's been
Mm,
a tiny step process in a different way for me as well. So, and yeah, from a product point of view, we're going to be promoting the cards and different sort of
absolutely.
similar little tiny tools to help tiny habits as well. So that's the plan. And world domination, obviously not a TEDx talk for Nashad, given that he just slammed the whole process. But yeah, no, continue to do what we're doing. So that's the plan.
Excellent. And Sundar says Cards Against Insanity is truly insane. Thank you very much, Sundar. That's a really that's a great kudos to us, and thank you very much
Yes.
for getting the cards and using that. Feel free to spread the word. We won't be shipping them straight away, but yeah, we will do that. And Ripple says all the best to both of you. Thank you very much, Ripple.
Thanks, Rapal.
For your wishes. Any last words, KB, before we sign off on
No, just want to
2021?
say thank you to our wonderful, wonderful audience. Thank you for everyone that's joined in the comments and also everybody that's sort of networked with each other off the show and made some great things happen as well. It's been absolutely fun doing this every week, and I really do wish everyone the best for the coming year, and hope everyone gets everything that they wish for in 2022.
Excellent. All right. Everyone, we are going to sign out now. Have a merry, happy Christmas, great holidays. Stay safe. If you're eligible for booster, go and get a booster jab done so that we can all start to feel a bit more relaxed about this. So until we see you 2022, bye for now,
Bye for
everyone.
now.